They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that maintain the decaying faces of this place.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. Now, this video is about, it's the second part. I did a video called Dating Desert. Well, this is the sequel, the Dating Drought. The Dating Drought. Now, because of all the legalities that's happened and how biased the government is and how the laws are designed where, both man, and here's the comedy behind this. Both a man and a woman were drunk and they slept together. Only the man was, only the woman was drunk and the man took advantage of her. And here's the other thing. Here's what's funny about that. What's funny about this thing is this. So a man can't be drunk at the bar, but he can be drunk when he steps out of the bar and starts driving. You know what I'm saying? So the whole police, the whole legalities, the judicial system, when they try, two couples are drunk. A woman's drunk and a man is drunk. And when they slept together, they were both intoxicated and under the influence, but the way it is being recognized is that only the woman was drunk. You know what I'm saying? So they opened up with that. But if you stepped out of the bar, you were talking with a chick and you decided just, I'm gonna drive home, and you were drunk, now when they arrest you, you were intoxicated. You were driving under the influence. You know what I'm saying? And what this has done is that, it's actually eliminated a lot of casual, it's eliminated a lot more casual occurrences between the opposite sexes, especially with all the cases that have happened in the news where there was a guy, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, he went to the bar, he was underage, the chick was underage. He walked her home, came back home. They said she woke up, she had some type of level of regret and claimed, he did something to her. You know what I'm saying? When he just walked her home, there was no test for semen or any fluids. And now that dude's in jail. And then there's the cases of the football team. Some chick lets them run a train on them. She has some regret. Her parents might find out. Now all of a sudden, she was, taken advantage of. And then there's a whole, you could just Google it. There's a lot of cases. But, knowing what you know, that, think about it. You can only be, when they catch a man and a woman together, both intoxicated, sleeping together, the woman was drunk. The man can only be drunk when he's not performing sexual intercourse and when he's not with a woman. He can only be drunk when he's driving or DUI and so on. So what this has done, and why I say you go back to the 90s, is that, what this has done is a lot of men are assessing a lot of risk. They're looking at it, man, if I buy her a drink. And the thing is, a lot of the bars are actually committing a level of, business, they're committing a level of destruction towards their own business. So, because there's been bars where, for example, if both man and women are drunk, you know what I'm saying? And what happens, whatever, they went to that bar, they were drinking, they were drunk, they went home together. The bar will only stick up for the woman. You know what I'm saying? Instead of the bar saying they're two adults, they were drinking, they did whatever they did, we're not going to press charges, we're not going to be we're not going to punish the man in this scenario. They were two consenting adults that got drunk and they slept together, whatever. The bar isn't responsible for that, Instead, there are bars out there that literally, think about it, there are bars out there that literally target their male patrons. I saw it on the news where this bar was like, we have codes. And, you know, it's not bad to have codes and all that, but they only have codes for the, you know, the opposite sex. You know what I'm saying? If she's drinking too much and you know, this and that happens. And, hey, you know, this and that happens, they'll kick the man out, this and that, even if they're both having some fun. You know what I'm saying? So what this does is it literally turns the bar to a location where they try to entrap a man. They're the men that will usually buy more drinks, you know, and the thing about this where they make it look bad. A lot of times when a guy buys a drink for a woman out there, they're trying to break the ice. You know what I'm saying? Look, I don't know you, you don't know me, but we're here for a good time, here to have some fun. So I bought you a drink. Let's talk. And the drink was made by the bartender. You know what I'm saying? So it's here to, it's just to break the ice. But the reason, and you know, a lot of these bars are literally entrapping their highest customer, the customers that will pay the most money. You know what I'm saying? Is usually the male patron, because he's gonna pay drinks for the women there. He's gonna pay drinks for his boys. You know, they're there to have some fun. So when you make it an entrapment in a case where you're actually hunting the men that come to your bar, you're actually going to destroy business in the long run. But the reason there's going to be a dating drought, what I didn't cover on Dating Desert, is that, you know, unlike the 90s where a lot of guys, and I'm going to be jumping between the male perspective and the female perspective, unlike the 90s where a lot of guys would just come up to a chick, or even early 2000s, hey, what's up? What's good with you? Cold approach. You know, cold approach is you don't know her, she doesn't know you. You just say hello, try to start a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I mean? You try to talk, you holler at her, whatever. Now in this age where they've made certain, I think it's London, where catcalling could actually get you some fines or imprisonment. Imprisonment. You know what I mean? So what it's done, and then you have the access to the phones, you know, where she could film you and say, look, hashtag, look at this loser that's catcalling me. Then there's a chance of it going viral. A lot, and then there's the chance of her accusing you of being abusive or trying to force yourself on. A lot of men have taken themselves out of the dating scenario because, you know, unless it's like through an app and all that, you know what I mean? I'll do another video, I'll go into more detail on apps where it's just, you know, you're asking her out, you're swiping up, swiping right, where you don't physically have to be near her, and all she has to do, if she doesn't like you, she doesn't reply. You know what I'm saying? No issue, no fuss. But even then, even that's been exposed where men, it's gone viral where a dude had a set of standards. You know, you can't have any standards anymore in his profile. She can't be overweight, this and that. Yeah, but that's a whole other tale. But a lot of men are looking at it, as I touched up on the dating desert, is that being a part of society now is basically a full-time job. You're in the work. You know, it's just like you can't ask a chick out at work because the risk of her saying, going to the boss saying, yo, you know, he's trying to ask me out, this and that, it's unprofessional, you know, sexual harassment and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now it's become a part of society where you try to ask a girl out, there's a risk of her potentially putting it online. You know what I'm saying? Instead of her just telling you to, you know, I'm not interested, there's a risk of her filming it and saying, look, hashtag, you know, creepy, hashtag this, and now your job might get a wind of this. You just asked her out. Your job might get a wind of this and you might get fired. Or your name, you know what I'm saying? Your name might be at risk. You know what I'm saying? You might have a civil court case on you. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of guys on a physical aspect are checking out because they're weighing out the risks, because every time on the internet, toxic masculinity. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as poisonous femininity. You know what I'm saying? But there's a whole lot of toxic masculinity. That's right. You know what I'm saying? You man spreading, you opening the door for a chick, you were being polite. Are you assuming that I'm too weak to open the door by myself? You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing with that, the whole campaign on toxic masculinity is that, and in the long run, it's going to do far more harm to women in general because it's just like the M2 cases. The media can cover a lot of ground. They can make 100 women seem like 1,000,000 women. You know what I'm saying? With how they cover it, the coverage. So the coverage of the M2 cases could literally, or times up, whatever, they can literally make the issues of, let's just say 500 women, and let's just say out of that 500, it was fraud or blackmail. They can make that seem like millions because they have the coverage to put it all over TV. So with the M2 cases and all this stuff, you know what I mean? It most likely isn't a reflection of the majority of women. You know what I'm saying? But but in the eyes of a man, and this is why I say you live by the one strike, is that all it'll take is one case and that man is out of work and it could basically destroy him, destroy his future. So what's happening is a lot of guys are taking themselves out of the physical dating aspect. I've seen it where, I'm working at a bar, of course, you see my size, you know what I'd be doing, security, working at a bar, and you see a lot of guys come in where they're just drinking with their homies, they're partying, they're drinking or whatever. And I've seen it now because of, especially after the whole M2 case where they made it a national, the media shown it like I said, they might have made 500 women or 1,000 women into millions. So a lot of guys, when I was working at the bar, would talk to me. They're like, yeah, man, because of all these M2 cases, man, I'm not even with it. I'm just here to drink, chill with the homies, whatever. And here's the other thing. Here's the catch. And for the bars, this is where they're gonna lose a lot of money. Is that so? A lot of these guys, when I was talking to them, they would say, "Yeah, I'm here to drink," and then when I leave, I'll click on Tinder and see if I can get a match for the night. So a lot of the guys were ignoring the women that are right there in front of them and choosing to and this is where it hurts the bar. Since they're ignoring the women that are in front of them, they're not spending money on the women that are there. Instead, the guys told me, well, dude, I'm a roll out. I'm leave the bar and I'll just, swipe on Tinder and see what I could get, see who's interested. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these guys would leave the bar and just go on Tinder to see if there's any woman interested. They can hang out and do whatever. So they're not even trying to go to the bar. And a lot of these guys weren't saying they're red, red, crimson pill or MGTO. They weren't saying none of that. They're just looking at, I gotta protect my career, my job, my name. That's the level. It's become the level of biases by the media where they're outright demonizing anything men do. You know what I'm saying? You saw the Gillette commercial. Boys will be boys. A dude tried to holler at a chick. That's negative. You know what I mean? And a lot of that stuff, I'll do another video on how this actually, there's an alternative goal behind that. But back to the dating drought. What this has done is it's put all the initiation into a woman's hands. She's the one now who has to go out and actually ask a guy out. You know what I'm saying? It put all the onus in her hand. And what I didn't cover on the dating drought was that a lot of, I watch a lot of guys, Coach Greg, Devin Sharp, Young Man's Daily Red Pill, you know what I mean, Anthony Spade. I watch a lot of the guys, but one thing a lot of guys, Sandman, I watch a lot of these guys. One thing they don't talk about and why women will not be the ones to make the first move, and I used to be someone who wasn't thinking about this, is that they can't make the first move because their issue is attraction. So a woman can't, just like a lot of these guys be saying, well, a woman wants all the sixes, 6 foot, six, this. Here's the thing, it isn't just about confidence and that she's afraid to ask men out. It's about the factor that if this man isn't attracted to her, there's nothing she could do. Just like you can't change your height. If a woman goes to put herself out there and ask a guy out, and he says, yo, I'm not interested, you know what I mean? I'm not attracted to you, she automatically is disqualified. You know what I'm saying? And even if she brings up she's got some money here and there, it won't mean nothing because, and a lot of guys try to play that whole double standard thing without looking at the other aspects. If a woman has money and goes up to a guy, hey, I got money. I know you're not attracted to me. I got money though. You still want to play? Well, now a lot of guys, in the community will say, well, he might go with her, but for a guy, it looks like he might try to rob her and steal from her. You know what I'm saying? So she comes up to the guy and says, look, I know you're not attracted to me, but I got a lot of money and I could take you out for a good time. The guy will most likely say, no, thanks. Not because he don't want to have fun with her and that money, but it's because, it would look like I'm trying to manipulate, threaten, or try to rob her of her money and resources. That's why a lot of men, instinctively, and like I said, we already know this, a lot of men will not, money doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter, not because a man wouldn't value a woman with money. It's that it looks like, and it will appear like he's trying to rob her, or basically he's trying to he's trying to steal from her. You know what I'm saying? A girl comes up to a guy with some money and says, hey, you wanna go out with me? I got some money. Depending on the guy's, thoughts, and if he's not attracted to her, he'll most likely say, no, I'm not interested, because she could later on use that factor that she had money, that he tried to manipulate, rob her, abuse her, tried to get her home so he could steal her money. That's a big aspect a lot of the men in this community aren't bringing up, is that, dude, guys don't care about a woman's resources to a certain extent, because there's a risk involved that he could look like he's trying to rob or steal from her, or basically, kidnap or rob her, get to her house, then, then steal her resources. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of guys don't really care about the money she brings into the relationship, and actually prefers that she's actually below or somewhere in the middle, because it protects him legally. You know what I'm saying? Well, what's she gonna argue? We make about the same money, or she makes lower than me. She can't go to the court and argue that I tried to rob her and that I was abusive because I wanted her money. You know what I'm saying? You gotta remember that men are the more dominant sex. You know what I'm saying? We're the most physically intimidating. So you dating a woman for her money, she could later on flip that, the victimhood, by saying you tried to rob and steal and intimidate her for her money. That's why a lot of guys avoid you, even if the woman has money, he'll avoid it. Or, you know what I'm saying? Especially with everything going on with the M2s and the times is up now and stuff like that. And, a lot of guys are looking at, yeah, man, she could accuse me of not only getting her intoxicated, but trying to rob and steal her money. Now, what's happened is And like I was trying to say is that the reason women won't make the first move is that she can't, just like a man can't change his height, a woman can't change, not at the very moment, or in some cases, even in the long term, she can't change how attracted a man is to her. You know what I'm saying? She can't just, so if she asks a guy out, she is automatically disqualified based on how attracted to her that man is. You know what I'm saying? So in reality, a lot of guys in the manosphere and in this community talk about, well, women are more scared and women are more afraid of damn, what's that word? Fuck, the word escapes me right now. Yeah, women are more afraid of a guy denying her advances. You know what I'm saying? Because they have more feelings and so on. No, it's not that. It's that she is disqualified based upon how she looks automatically. So in reality, it's far more, you know, painful for her ego, because if a guy comes up to a girl, even if she's not attracted to him, she could be attracted to his resources, so that guy has an alternative. His height, all that stuff could change based on his resources. You know what I'm saying? She could be attracted to his resources and, they could end up sleeping together and doing whatever happens. You know what I mean? There's another option for a man. But in a woman's case, when she comes up to a guy, she tries to ask him out, she could be disqualified from the very beginning because, you're not attracted to her. So automatically, she can't change that. And if she brings up money, as I stated, on your end, it doesn't look good on a potential criminalizing court issue. So a lot of guys will basically, the money don't matter. So when a woman comes to approach a man and ask that man out, even if she's a 10, as the guys say, 9, whatever, she doesn't know, unless he's, what I'm saying, looking at her a particular way or she has a level of confidence, she doesn't know if he's going to disqualify her advances based on how she looks. And she can't change how she looks to him, be it her age and all that. She can't change how attractive she can be to him at that very moment. So a lot of women will not, do the first, move. You know what I mean? And like I said, a lot, I don't like saying the whole, I didn't say every woman. I didn't say every man. To me, people who bring that up in videos, man, you're wasting time. It just shows how much you've been trained to worry about things that people think about that you didn't even say. It's a waste of time. But yeah, it's creating a dating drought because all the power is an onus and responsibility of initiating the date is in the woman's hand. And the easiest way for her to initiate it will be on an app. You know what I'm saying? Not in the physical realm, but on an app, because with an app, she can agree to see this man. She can choose him at her leisure, and it won't have as much damage to her ego. You know what I'm saying? To her confidence, because she isn't, yes, she might be disqualified because he's not attracted to her on the app, but she has a lot of other choices. It becomes like a lot of these apps, dating apps, are like musical chair. You know what I'm saying? Any, many, miny, mo, whatever, who she likes, she choose. So if she choose one, you know what I mean, he doesn't respond, whatever. She chooses another one. It's much easier to date on the apps and be more selective on the apps. And then, you know what I'm saying, usually when a chick makes the first move, she's at a bar or something, you know what I mean, alcohol, or her friends might have had something to play with it. She's surrounded with all her girlfriends, so her walking up to a guy isn't gonna mean nothing because her support system is right there. You know what I'm saying? So women tend to make the first move in groups because their support system is there. You know what I'm saying? If the guy doesn't return interest, she goes right back to her girlfriends, for support. So what this has done, so you got on one end the men avoiding physical reaction, because of cat calls and how their masculinity, them making a first move, has been demonized and made into a toxic aspect. And then the fact that a lot of men, if they work a particular job, are looking at how will she respond. What if she responds by pulling out her phone and saying, you're a loser, you're this and that, you're abusing me, or this and that. A lot of men, it isn't like because, you got a lot of these dating coaches and dating guys, they talk on the perspective of the 90s where, the worst thing that could happen is she says no and she just moves on, bro. So as a PUA coach, a dating coach, gonna give you the greatest advice, man. You keep trying, bro. You could attract a woman no matter what. You could be broke, you could be homeless, dude. Yeah, you could attract any opportunity to be the last time you talk to one. What's happened is it isn't the 1990s or early 2000s. It's not that she could just say no. She could pull out a phone and put you live on Instagram, put you live on social media that you're a creep, you're this and that. Damn, man, I keep forgetting the word where they tell you no. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it's not just them saying no anymore. There's a higher level of risk, you know what I'm saying? And especially depending on even how you come holla at her. If you're walking up to her and she's by herself, she could pull out her phone. Look, he's stalking me. There's a lot of alternative events and occurrences that could happen. So a lot of men in the physical realm of dating and approaching are adding this up, man. What's at risk here? What could happen? A lot of these PUAs and guys selling these videos don't add that part up. They don't add the what if she takes it too far? What if she takes your advances that are innocent, you just trying to ask her out, and tries to put you on the internet, tries to register you as this and that, you know what I mean? Or calls, to put you on a hashtag for creeps, hashtag toxic masculinity, hashtag stalker, hashtag abusive, hashtag M2, whatever it is. So a lot of these PUA coaches never add that part up. That's why I say you got to live by the one strike. You got to live by the one strike rule because you as a man, you're on a one strike. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these PUA coaches and them, they don't add that aspect up. They don't bring up the perspective of what she can do, how she can say no to you, how she could basically go overboard with how she denies you. That, you know what I mean? How she denies your advances. So a lot of men are taking up the precautions that their jobs might be on the line. They're looking at a lot of things. That's why I say in today's dating field and why dating is basically the physical aspect has become, the only majority I'd say in the next 5 to 10 years, all you're gonna see is a lot of dates started on the apps. It started on the apps, your Tinders, your Bumbles, what I mean? And I'm gonna do another video, there's more to do, but about how, the apps, dating apps and social dating apps are gonna really have a lot of damage on the women. You know what I mean? A lot of this happening, as part of this community. A lot of this community looks at, the male perspective, but in reality, the women are on the clock. They're on a clock of fertility. So it's really damaging them the most in the long run. And even not even long in the short term, because depending on their behavior and the laws and how afraid, how rightfully so men are afraid to approach women, their clock, you gotta look at women like this. Women are like a soccer game, where the clock never stops ticking, unless they're going on the halftime. But women don't even have that. They don't have a halftime event. The clock on their fertility window never stops ticking towards infertility or dangerous level fertility, where she could have a child and there's a high risk of that child being born with Down syndrome and illness. So that clock never stops ticking. Guys, on the other hand, I had 5 years of not dating success. So, I went somewhere else and got a chick, got my, found a woman to have my child. The clock for us guys, fertility is basically, it's on pause. It's just about, maybe it's stronger levels of fertility. The older you get, it's the quality of your fertility window. So, a guy might have, when he's young, probably millions of sperm. Then as he gets older, he might have thousands, so, but a woman's clock never stops. But what this has created is a dating drought. Since all of the, initiation is in the woman's hand, she will, as I stated, avoid physical, dating interaction, because she could automatically get disqualified based on her appearance. Unlike the guy, where his appearance won't matter if his resources, make up for his appearance. You know what I'm saying? A chubby dude could approach a girl and he's got a Rolex on, he's high resources. She could be attracted to his resources and that lifestyle, and naturally so, because it's ingrained in her that she should seek out a man with great resources to protect her financially and having children and all that stuff. But since all the onus is in the women's hand, it's created, and I think it's already happened in Ireland or Australia, where you have, they call the man drought, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of women are being promoted to have fun and enjoy their lives and this and that. Basically, pretend and live like their clock, their fertility clock, isn't ticking. You know what I'm saying? So that's happened, but there's a dating drought because A, it's gonna be easier for a woman to date with apps. B, it's gonna be easier if she goes on a physical aspect at a bar or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be easier for her to have friends around. But since guys are being accused of not being drunk, and only the woman could be drunk from the bar from being heavily intoxicated, a lot of guys are gonna avoid her advances. Even if, I've been at the bar, talked to a few chicks here and there, where they come at you, they're not drunk, they're just extremely shy. But, a guy reading that could be, man, and they might even be clumsy when they come at you. So a guy might be looking at that and say, man, maybe she's too intoxicated, so, man, I'll leave her alone. And at times she might just be, she might just be, intoxic. She might just be shy about the whole scenario. So she's going to walk slightly off, and she might even trip a little. She's not drunk. She just isn't, she's putting a lot on the line. A lot of guys in this community don't understand. Women put a lot more on the line when it comes to initiating the dating scenario, because they can automatically get disqualified based on their attraction, and age, and they can't change that. You as a man could be 5'3", come to a woman. If your resources or who knows, your character in certain instances, you might sell it to her. You know what I mean? You might be able to be attracted, or even the guys you surround yourself with. If you're 5'3" and all your guy friends are like 6 foot and up, and you're the leader, you know what I'm saying? You're the leader in this scenario. And notice I didn't say alpha, because to me, there's only one alpha male. The true alpha male is the government. There is no other alpha than the government. You know what I'm saying? The ones who pass the laws. That's one thing, a lot of guys talk about. Replace the alpha male from a man and put that on the government. The government's the only alpha in town. You know what I'm saying? You are either a leader or not. You're a leader. So when she sees that, I had some homies like that, you know what I mean? I'm 6'7", whatever. So, I've walked in a bar where my homie's like 5'5" or 5'7", and he bagging them because, he commands the room. If they see him chilling with me and I'm following his lead, you know what I mean? That's another level of attraction there. But basically, man, what with all the laws and all the anti-male practices in the courts and all the cases, you could literally search online and you'll see millions of them pour up, where dudes accuse this, dating remorse. She woke up right near the bed with him and said, "Oh, he took advantage of me." When you were both drunk, you're two consenting adults. That's the thing about this whole scenario, is that, so women are adults when they drive, they get a job and all this and that, but they're not adults when they choose to drink, go under the influence, and can't consent and make bad decisions. Yeah. So to me, it's created a dating drought because it's put all the onus into women's hands. And in the dating aspect and in the initiation process, a lot of women are at a disadvantage because they could be disqualified based on their appearance, and they can't, in cases, change that. She could be a 9, she could be a 10, she could be a 25, whatever. If a guy's not into her, not attracted to her, she's disqualified. So when it comes to initiating the dating process, and when I was older, you know what I mean? I used to think about that a lot, where, there's a chick that likes me. Why doesn't she just initiate it? You know what I mean? Why? Yeah, and me, I've always calculated certain things. It's done some damage. There's some other stuff that has to play into that. But basically, man, a lot of women, because they have so much from a self-esteem level, have to lose from initiating the process of dating, they will avoid it at all costs because they get disqualified based on their looks automatically. If that man isn't attracted to you, you're done, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? He ain't attracted to you, he ain't attracted to you. You know what I'm saying? So when they're not attracted to you, you're automatically disqualified. That woman's money doesn't matter. And even in certain cases, a man will, if he's not attracted to her, will take her up on it because he sees her friends. And, this might be a way to get closer to her friends. I'm a go in, I'm a pretend I'm into her, you know what I mean? And then I'm going to get to her friends. You know what I'm saying? I really like one of her girlfriends. So I'm going to pretend I'm into her, and I could see the signals from her girlfriend as well. So it's only a matter of time. So I'm going to get with her, chill with her for a minute. And when I do get the chance, I'm going to drop my line on her girlfriend. So there's alternative motives and alternative routes into it. But the dating drought is basically when you put all the onus into a woman's hands, and then all the laws are against the men, and they want to avoid you to begin with. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, what's happened is, you know, the real world is now a full-time job. And what I mean by full-time job, what some people don't get on these videos is that what I mean by full-time job is that you living in this world is a job now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys are looking at it and saying, yo, this is a job. You know what I'm saying? So my life is a job now. I can't just ask a chick out because I might be risking losing my life, my livelihood, jobs, this and that, because the whole game of life now is a job. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of guys are looking at it like that, and that's why you don't see many cold approaches. And especially since the media is basically, and usually most of the time it's some unattractive, super old woman who's saying, they catcall me. Yeah, right. They're catcalling you. Lady, you're 35, and you look like you're one potato chip away from not being able to cross the street. You know what I'm saying? Or they're older, bitter women that aren't able to party like they used to, because I stated a lot of the older women are against the younger women. It's not in the case of guys, because guys understand. A guy could be 50 years old and one guy could be 20. We're both still fertile. We both still have resources. It don't really matter. That's why a lot of guys tend to, click even if they're older. Like, yo, your best friend could be 55 years old and you're like 30, or you're 21 and your best friend's 55, because you both bring the same thing to the table, your resources. When it comes to older women, you both bring as a man, you both bring your resources and fertility. Comes to older women, it's harder for them to be best friends at that age because they both don't bring the same level. You know what I'm saying? One's fertile, one's not. One's this attractive, one's not. You know what I mean? They're That's why a lot of older women and younger women can't truly be allies. The older women tend to be against the younger women, and rather they repeat the process, because the younger women repeating the process brings those younger women to their level. So if a woman wasted her fertility window, she's gonna look for the younger women to do the same, so they can all talk, and she doesn't have to face her issues or the responsibility from what she's done. You know what I mean? So a lot of you guys, that's why we're in the dating drought, because all the onus is put on the women's hand without, what I'm saying? There's a reason we have, you know, uh, I wouldn't call it gender roles, since they make up genders. You could claim you're a wolf, but sex, there's different roles for each sexes, and the role of a man is usually, what I'm saying, he's gonna come make the first move. Or even if the woman makes the first move, it tends to be at a younger age where there's less on the line, or maybe her family has ingrained certain values in her, so she's acting upon those values. But what's going on is, since all the onus is put on women's hands and it ignores the roles they play in the sexes and the advantages and the disadvantages that come with it, a lot of women are going to end up single, and there's going to be a true dating drought that will continue. You know what I'm saying? Lies. Now, this video is about what I call the dating desert. See, we're due to all the laws and what's going on, what it's created is a dating drought. It's not that there isn't anyone to date. It's that because all of the intent on now negotiating, now not negotiating, but now initiating the date is placed on the women, due to the fact that, for example, men can't catcall anymore. Just say, hey, you look good. You know what I'm saying? Men can't come to ask a woman out in public that he doesn't know without the potential risk that comes with it. And what's happened, and I'm going to touch up on it step by step here, what's happened is it's created a dating drought, because since it's all on the women. Now, I'm not saying men aren't out there, cold approaching or, looking for dates and all that. But what's happening is it's placed due to how the laws are where, the intent of a man seeking out a woman publicly comes with a risk. Because what's happened is it's turned, all of the dating has become somewhat of a job. It's become like because of all the laws and everything going on, society in general, especially a super biased government when it comes to sexes has become a full-time job. Like, your job is now actually how you live your life. You know how you can't really ask a chick out at your job without risk being implied, a level of risk and, what could happen, she could place, oh, look, that freak asked me out and all that. And because of the pressure with how they're saying, what they call it, man spreading, because of how they've literally targeted everything a man does, being masculine, cat calls, compliments, anything a man does that the woman isn't comfortable with or doesn't give a positive level of validation, it can be deemed a crime. You know what I'm saying? So what it's done is it's put all the initiation process for dating on a woman's, hand. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of men, and this video might be a little all around here and there, it's been a while, but a lot of men have now also the reason, you got Coach Greg Adams, RPM, Hammerhead, the whole manosphere aspect is actually going to grow even stronger because of how the laws are. A lot of men are looking at it as, the only time I'm free, the only time I don't have to worry about a potential, false claim or a potential harassment claim and all that is when I hang with my homies and my friends, my male friends. So what this has done is it's pushed men even further towards only associating and socializing with their fellow man. So that's why you see the crimson, the crimson pill community increasing and growing at a crazy state, because the only time it's safe for you as a man to have a different narrative or conversation is with your fellow man. You can't talk to a chick or say anything because she'll say, oh, look, he's abusing me and all this and that, and could summon the wrath of what comes with her playing a victim. So a lot of men are associating with more men. They're finding it that it's safer to communicate. It's always been more comfortable for you to talk to your fellow man. You know what I mean? Because, if you're straight, there's no attraction there. There's really no, boundary beyond the conversation and talking. So what this has done is it's pushed more men into communicating and talking with one another, And another thing is, to go back to why we're at a dating desert, is that it's put all the responsibility of dating in a woman's hand. The initiation process of dating, just basically initiating and asking someone out. It's been placed in the woman's hand, and in actuality, it's created a desert because, due to the fact that women naturally don't really ask a guy out. You know what I mean? I've been in them scenarios where, you'll get them signals and all that, what they call them choosing signals. But even then, they're signals. It's not, she'll overtly just come up to you, blah, blah. I mean, that happens sometimes, when can't help it. I'm a good looking guy. What can I say? But what happens, but what's happened is it creates a dating desert because it actually, since women are the ones by the mainstream media that cannot be deemed monstrous or inhumane for asking a man out, or how they treat the man or whatever standards they set, it's created a dating desert because most women will not initiate the dating process and are still seeking men to come out and, ask them out and so on. But the men are stepping away from that. And since women are being put in the perspective of they have to initiate the dating process, it further empowers their perspective of not engaging the dating process because women naturally fear or, fear rejection. And they, what I mean? It's not in a natural state for them to go and just ask guys out, Maybe back in kindergarten, back in, when we were little kids and stuff, when there was less fear, stuff like that. But as women mature, they become more aware of their, reflection and, how their image and how their appearance plays when it comes to, male attention and and validation and all that. So what happens is we're in a dating desert. Of course you add in the whole Tinder, then you add in seeking arrangements where, a woman could basically set her price for how she can associate with a man. Then you add in all the dating, all the apps and all that, the fact that she could just swipe up, swipe back, it's gonna make women further go even further back towards not socializing for dates. They're basically gone, the apps will actually make more money because at least with the apps, she's being asked out. You know what I mean? Men are swiping yes, no, you know what I'm saying? She's still getting asked out versus the physical aspect where, most men are just walking away and leaving her alone. So she's gonna further go into that dedication to apps, dating on apps and Tinder and, then you got your OnlyFans and stuff like that. So by putting all the power and onus on a woman's hand when it comes to the initiation process of dating without any, without any hurdle or issues, you know what I'm saying? It actually, it basically pushes it further into the apps because given the process of dating, a woman will choose the easiest way, and easiest way is the apps. The apps, you get asked out hundreds of times because of, what I'm saying, that cognitive distance. It's kind of like when you have a credit card or a debit card and you don't have your physical money in your hand. You'll spend more money. It'll be easier for you to spend money. So it's easier for guys by the thousands for some women or by the hundreds to ask them out because, we don't on the app because you're nowhere near within her face or, you know, close to where there's any risk. There's any, physical risk that can be implied. So you swipe up, you swipe whatever to say you want to go out with her. So, it's created in the physical realm. What's happening is, and in the long run, this is going to actually damage far more women than men. What's happening is that dating now is, it's in your pocket. It's the phone. You know what I mean? So physical dating, it's become obsolete. And what's going to happen now, let's say some woman let's say she's 18. She's been dating on the apps until she's about, let's say, 28. So 10 years, but she's tired of sleeping around. So she's trying to seek real relationships and real encounters. But most men outside of the apps aren't asking, them out. Most men are going further and further away because of all the implied risk. He could be deemed misogynist. He could be deemed this and that, and his employment is on the line. What this has created is men have seen that dude. I ask her out if she ain't feeling my game or doesn't like me and says I'm a creep or whatever, and she puts this online and hashtags, you know, creep of the week or whatever, my job is on the line. So a lot of men are pushing themselves further and further away from the physical dating aspect, you know, and more men, in all honesty, with with all choices when it comes to women on the scale of how you can deal with them, be it with apps, and there's different levels of apps. You have your Tinder and your Bumble, where you're asking them out, you're swiping in. Then you have your OnlyFans, where you can get that validation through, payments and certain requests and all that. Then you get to a lot of the community doesn't talk about, where they say they're simps and all that. But a lot of those men that are on OnlyFans are part of a group of men that are on OnlyFans that get to socialize and communicate with each other while, while basically, seeking the validation of one woman. You know what I'm saying? Like they've built a whole male community around that woman's validation. Then you have your seeking arrangements where it's like a damn near an escort service. And I've seen on there, man, they got chicks age 18 and up literally putting their services on there with a price. So what's happening is, for women, they won't face what it means, and it's not in their nature to go, asking men out. You know what I'm saying? They're more out there to be asked out. So when you put all the power into a woman to make the decision of who she's gonna ask out and all that, she ain't gonna ask nobody out in the physical realm. There'll be far less of them doing it, so it's gonna create a dating desert. And then you add all the apps available, for dating and so on. Women are gonna take the easiest route, and it's the apps. And there's different levels of apps. You got your Tinders, your Bumbles, your Plenty of Fish, and then you have those other apps where she's in charge, where there's money involved. Your seeking arrangements, where she puts her services out there for a certain amount of money. Then there's OnlyFans, where same thing. She puts her services, but it's only through a digital aspect where she never has to meet any men. So what's happened is we're in a dating desert. even though there's a lot of women and a lot of men out there, then you add what I call it Conan 19. Shout out to RPM who calls it Charlie 19. I like to call it Conan 19. I guess as long as we stay with the C word, Conan 19, we'll be all right. But yeah, with Conan 19 out, there's even more reasons for her to not socialize. So women are gonna fall further and further into socializing on the apps. You see, a lot of men, when Conan 19 is done, and let's say they stop the mask and they allow a lot of more men to socialize and do what they do, what's gonna happen is more men are gonna socialize, and than ever before. It's actually gonna go, as I kept saying, back to when men went to the bar with their brothers, their friends, and did whatever else they did, and went back to whatever. You know what I mean? So what's gonna happen is more women will be the victims of not, to the point where they can't do you know what I'm saying? They can't not social distance. Because all the power's in their hands when it comes to initiating the dates. So the safest thing for them is gonna be, when it comes to their ego and their self-esteem, will be the online dating process. Because they get to reject this man, that man, and so on. So, we're in the dating desert. You know what I'm saying? In the physical realm, there's going to be far less dating, and in the long term, it's going to do a lot more psychological damage to the women than the men, because, I tell a lot of people, a lot of men, we've been social distancing. When you're playing video games, for 5 to 8 hours, you're social distancing. When you're in the gym by yourself for over 8 to 5 hours, you're social distancing. Or you're chasing your goals and grinding it out, you're social distancing. We as men have been social distancing. And the thing is, it's only gonna get, further and further away from physical socialization between the sexes. We're in the physical dating desert, because all of the power to, initiate the dating process has been put in the woman's hands, and the majority of them will not, and this will further increase their nature, as in, it will make them more, you know, avoidance when it comes to seeking men out. They'll do it far less as a group when it comes to initiating a dating process. Well, this has been Hold the Truth Hostage, where the truth was so important, wouldn't negotiate with lies. Peace.
They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that maintain the decaying faces